Hello, welcome to another episode of the Pianoforte Podcast. I am your co-host Felicia, and I'm joined with my other co-host Audrey.
Bye,
and today
Audrey.
we have Hello, Audrey.
Hi. Yeah, and we have a guest.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hello, Lindsey.
It's Lindsey.
Hey, y'all.
So a little backstory, a little background.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsey was our docent at our
Docent,
music
yes.
school, music college, where we attended, where everybody attended, basically, Britta and Simon as well. She is a vocal teacher, and also she held some lyric writing courses. So that's our topic for today, lyrics.
Yay.
Yeah.
You want to add something, Lindsey?
A
A little background about yourself.
Yeah, background. Well, I'm born and raised in South Florida in the U.S., near Miami in West Palm Beach, Florida. And I came over here. I did a study abroad 1,000 years ago in 2008. And
That feels like a long time ago, but it's not, right?
It feels like a long time ago. And I met my husband during that time. And so coming back and forth all the time until we got married. Since then, I've just been teaching, freelancing from Freiburg. And that's where I'm at.
That's where we are. We are still in Freiburg. I'm not in America. Just for disclosure, because we also sometimes just like tell the audience first, like, yeah, Audrey is still in Germany, Felicia is still in Singapore, and this is still Zoom.
Yes.
Good reminder.
Yeah, we're still in a situation. Yeah, good. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me. This is great. I'm excited. I'm still a little nervous, but just, again, full disclosure.
No need.
So here we go.
No need to be nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about. So it's a bit different than the other episodes that we've done, I guess, Fish, right? Because
Yeah.
the other ones, we totally just bring in a guest, and the guests literally don't know what to do. Like, until we just
I don't think
say
we
it.
knew much of what to do either, honestly.
That's also a thing. But like with Lindsay, it's very specific because we are also reviewing like your lyrics, your set of lyrics.
That is not well done. I would apologize for that first.
No apologies necessary, Felicia. Not at all.
Lyrics are, I think like it's another like creative vessel. Like there's no wrong thing, I think, like as long as you feel it. I mean, there is some like better things, but there's no absolute wrong, if you know what I mean. I think like, who is it, like a rapper, he did like a mumble kind of rap, and like, yeah, that's it, that's the song. That sells. Yeah, so it's kind of like a thing, right?
Yeah, it's odd when you kind of start analyzing things in that regard, or even just sort of like, you know, the pattern or the sound, right? The psychology and just like the pattern that we all love to listen to as human beings, right? So somebody can even mumble, but somehow it's really catchy and really cool sounding, right? But also a mumble is something new, you know, someone hasn't done that before. So I think in today's day and age too, with everybody having access, like we're hearing so much more cool, unique stuff coming out, and it's giving all of us new ideas and concepts that have never come out before, you know?
That is an interesting aspect. Yeah, true. It's the time. It's 2022, y'all. we have all the options.
Time
available.
to mumble. I think I think that is really curious. I don't know what you're talking about, and I have to go and check that out personally.
I forgot who that rapper was because I don't really listen to a lot of hip hop, but one of my students, he likes hip hop a lot, and in the class he would just like, do you know this artist? Do you know this? Do you know that? Do you know that? Of course, he has mentioned names that I know, like Eminem. That's basic, right? Lil Nas, that's also basic, Nas X. But like he would also mention names that are beyond my knowledge, and those are one of those. So I'm not quite sure if I would be able to help much unless I ask my student again.
Yeah, WhatsApp me that. Just
I will WhatsApp
We'll
you.
stay in contact about that.
We will. So that is another thing in lyrics topic with this stuff. Mumbling and getting ideas. How do you write your lyrics?
Oh boy. Well, I love to have a composition or a progression that exists already. That's a huge springboard for me. I think that it automatically, for me, sound equates to some sort of like image or something going on or memory.
Do you make like a in a sense like a music video in your brain?
Well, yes, I do.
Me too.
I do.
Do you fish?
No, I don't. I don't even know what I think about when I come up with lyrics.
Oh yeah.
So I just want to say something about that, which is kind of interesting. And well, I have a question for y'all. Sorry, I'm like totally taking over right now. Is that okay?
No.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
just-
You're
Yeah.
the guest, so you have the most
Well, y'all.
screen time.
Okay. Wow. So y'all might get a kick out of this because, so a couple weeks ago, I was having a conversation with a friend student of mine, and she also writes. She hasn't done so in quite a while. And she mentioned this whole concept between architect and gardener. And this is like a writing concept that is used very often in just the writing world, not necessarily for lyrics, but really for, any kind of like books and etc. And the writing style of people, we tend to kind of almost easily fall into the category of architect and gardener.
Oh, how it's square or it's like florally and stuff.
Well, thinking too formulaically, or everything is kind of outlined, or there is like a pattern we follow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of structure. Or
Yes.
with a gardener, it's very much organic. We plant a seed, or a seed suddenly is growing, and when do we decide to harvest? How do we watch it? It's much more sort of a natural process, right? We kind of just follow this flow. And I thought that was so fascinating, and I don't know if what do y'all identify with? Are you a gardener or an architect?
Fish, do you want to answer first? Because I don't know.
I'll give you some time to think. I think I usually am a bit more of a gardener until I have a deadline coming up. Then I suddenly become an architect.
Amen, sister. All the way. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I remember on your class, I don't know what's going on with me. I was just overwhelmed with life. I was just like, I cannot write anything. And then like literally one day before submission, you were never really that strict, but yeah, I like to try my best. Literally one day I was just like, you know what? I'll write about not being able to write. Just like nothing
That's
came
very
out.
meta.
So I think I'm a little bit of more of an architect in that sense. That's like just the square first, and then the flowers can come later. I think. I don't know, but you've read my lyrics.
I have. I'm also surprised. I would have actually put you more. I would have assumed more gardener
Oh, from my lyrics or from?
from your lyrics.
Oh wow! Oh, so here we go. A better.
But I think though also knowing I think kind of, at least for me personally, and this is something that George R.R. Martin, who wrote,
It's
the
okay.
the most famous book series and show right now. Why can't I think of Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Oh man, I'm so. This is what happens when I get nervous. So Game of
It's okay, it's
Thrones,
okay.
and then Stephen King also, and they both, I think, identify as gardeners. And there's a lot of talk about this kind of in the writing world, and I think that it's really interesting to kind of explore more about.
It could be they are gardeners. I mean, yeah, from the words and how they play with them.
And I don't know how long also it, thinking too about time, the amount of time something takes to write or to finish. I think that
Right.
with an architect that tends to almost always be in a shorter span or kind of a more controlled span of time, whereas other people it will take them, decades to kind
Ages
of
to
finish.
find
Yeah.
the specific right word.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's interesting. Do you think that there's actually like more gardeners or more architects from what you see, like from the class, the tendency and stuff?
I think that, so I've worked with a lot of people now, which is interesting. I've worked more with non-native speakers, right? Although everybody speaks like they are native speakers. But I think like kind of being able to really go deeply into an idea in a second language is profoundly challenging and difficult, right?
It is. At some point, I'm just like, that's the limit of my vocabulary. What am I gonna do now?
Well, and I think too, I mean, I've tried just for fun every so often, where I will try to write something, for example, in German, an idea, and I'll like record it and I'll send it to my husband and I'll be like, does this make sense? What do you think? And he'll be like, that's nice, and just to kind of get a taste of, from the other perspective, and so looking at a lot of what I have received or when I work with people in workshops and things, it reads a little bit more sort of formula, which then would steer me to architect. However, we can come to also the discussion about like, it's coming from a place of emotion. It's coming from you. It's sort of like a little, fingerprint of like your soul and your spirit. So of course there is this gardener side to that. But I would say I think that there is sometimes a little bit more, I would say architect. I could keep going on and on and on this topic, so I should pump the brakes. But
It's okay. It's okay. I love it. I love when the guests
love
just
listening
like
to this
talk.
part as well.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's better than like they just give short answers. It has never happened so far.
all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also like, oh yes, this is engaging.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah. Do we want to check on Felicia's lyrics? Are you ready that we start now with your lyrics? Wish that we started having
yeah.
some basic topics. I mean, we can just always come back to like basic topics as long as we got time.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
everything is kind of easily woven together.
Yeah, we can.
And Felicia, I'd love to hear from you a little bit before like I jump into anything, just about
What's going on?
yeah, where you're at. Talk to me about, and it's so good to see you. Hi, one more time.
Hi again.
It's like the therapy session that we all came for,
Right, it really is. I'll like lower my voice, I'll get closer to the microphone, and we'll make it a whole, therapeutic event. But yeah, Felicia, though, I would love to hear from you a little bit.
About the lyrics?
Yeah.
About the lyrics
About the
specifically.
lyrics.
I mean, you can also talk about general life if you want to.
Nothing interesting is going on in my life right now, so
Me too.
just teaching.
We all.
Teaching. Yeah.
Hear ya.
Yeah, but I mean, just to fill you in, Lindsey, because when I was in Freiburg, I was doing quite a bit of songwriting because that was my specialization. And then since I came back, I have pretty much stopped writing for a very long time. And then like recently, I've just been trying to just like when I come up with like short phrases, just to make notes of them. So I don't really work on them necessarily. It's just more like if something pops in my head, I just write it down and then just leave it there. So this one that I sent you, I actually wrote. It's not very well written and or structured because I literally woke up one morning. I was like, let's write something. So I just typed it into my phone, and yeah. So if it sounds very like it just goes on and on in one circle, that's because I was kind of still in the morning mood. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Good chime in.
Jukebox Audrey is back again.
Well, that is the one song that is like very morning moody because it is the literal title. I'm sorry.
Is
Okay,
in the
let's
morning
go back
mood.
to
Yeah,
the
okay,
lyrics.
anyways.
Yeah, right? Actually, yeah, good call. Great. So this is like your first draft, Felicia. This was just kind
Yeah,
of
it
stream
is.
of consciousness, would you say?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Did you already kind of give yourself now, after looking at the page, was something obviously a chorus to you or verse, bridge, kind of labeling any parts?
Or do you even have like a...
I mean,
Like-
there is the part that I did repeat, right? Like, please give me a sign. What am I here for?
Yes.
I think that is kind of what I see as like a chorus. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, there's almost like also a pre-chorus kind of thing
A
emerging.
vibe,
Yeah, as well.
a pre-chorus vibe.
Great. I'll just jump in, Felicia, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
We will add the lyrics. I hope it's okay for you because people need to know
Yeah,
the
yeah, you
context as
can.
well, right? We put
Yeah.
it in our blog for a
Yes.
better reading experience, or maybe in the description box on YouTube somehow, so people can follow along. Yeah, we'll try.
Yeah.
We'll make something out.
All right.
Something will happen.
Perfect.
Just wait for it.
Something.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, first of all, I really enjoyed reading this. It feels really personal. It feels very much like kind of, it feels like a diary excerpt almost. It's so personal. And these are the things that I love to read so much. And they're
Me
the
too,
most
actually, I like to
fun.
read.
Yeah, I think that it feels very much like we're being invited to witness. There's a lot of, how can I say this? I think just the intimacy is very sacred and special to kind of just bear witness to. So that's, I think, what I'm trying to say right now. I've had so many thoughts and comments, and I'm going to try to hit on just the main stuff right now. And especially, I think, as I was sort of looking these over, I kind of also want to just touch on some basic ideas for those who might be listening that might struggle with something similar. One thing, too, is just like developing the idea. How do we kind of take this concept of sort of what do I do, right? Like you've written about in your lyrics, and how do we develop that? And so what I think is neat too is sort of, you wrote the lyrics first, I'm assuming, Felicia, or were you kind of playing an idea first? And so I think here you've kind of given us already pretty great structure. Going through it, there's a lot of there's symmetry in the amount of lines as well. So we have 6 lines, we have 2 lines, we have 4 lines. It just already has, it's a very, very
Structured,
elevated first draft, right? And however, I think for a lot of people, their first draft does not quite come out this well, maybe, or structured already for the song. And so just talking about the idea of collecting idea or concepts for what you have right now. We did a lot of sensory writing.
We did.
Until y'all were just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, I made y'all do it so much in the class because I'm a firm believer in sensory writing, which is a Pattinson process. And I learned about that during my studies at Berkeley. And I love it. But it's not for everyone. You know, and sensory writing is we're using all of our senses to describe, you know, a beaten up car or in this case, you know, feeling lost, for example, which is a little bit more of, I think, a little bit difficult to do on such an abstract idea, right? Versus an actual item that we can
Yeah, because I mean, if you say a car, like people can imagine directly how you feel in a car. Like I presume most people in this world have ridden a car of some sort, right? Kind of like that sensory thing is a little bit easier to grasp rather than just feeling lost, because feeling lost can be very different for many people.
Yeah,
whereas
absolutely.
riding a car is probably quite similar to most people.
Right. When I think about new car smell, I think we can all
we can tell like what it is. True.
We kind of go to
Yeah.
that chemical place together, you know, somehow. And anyway, so I think, you know, just about a couple of ideas as well to gather data or gather information for ourselves. So there's always sensory writing. Another is just kind of riffing off, you know, or riffing on the idea or the concept that you have, right? So not writing full complete sentences. You can do bullet points. You can just kind of letting your mind wander and just making sure that you're recording it on your phone, on your laptop, you know. And then another that actually is really great, especially for those who are just kind of getting started, is mind mapping.
Oh yeah, you did with us as well, mind mapping.
And mind mapping is really quite cool. It's also more organized. So those who feel like
It's more architect.
it is, thank you, girl. It's more architect.
That's
you know?
probably why I thought that I was an architect. In the beginning, I said like I think I'm more an architect because I did like the mind mapping exercise. It helps to declutter.
It
as
does.
Marie Kondo say.
It really does, and it sparks joy. So, but it declutters. That's a great way of putting it. But what I just love is that there's always a source to kind of come back to pull from and draw from. And
Right.
I think that that's what also makes us feel kind of better supported as writers, especially for writing on our own. So kind of starting with just allowing yourself to journal somehow, riffing on an idea, sensory writing, mind mapping. These are all kind of just ways in which we can allow ourselves to just go a little bit deeper than surface level, you know, Alltag, everyday phrases, concepts, and things like that.
You can even do like mind mapping with vocabularies as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Oh my God, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Because I did, I once had, I didn't write an entire long block of lyrics. I just like started with like 2 sentences or something. But I remember my thing was red. My mind mapping was kind of red. And in that sense, what the 2 automatic thing that came to my mind is wine and roses. So my lyric was kind of like, if I drank this entire amount of wine, could I somehow bloom red roses on my head?
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's kind of like, all of a sudden, I want to do something like with color, like red, and like just like, if I drink wine, can I bloom roses?
But what a cool, but already like that concept or what kind of it will evoke from me now hearing you describe that, right? And like an emotion that makes me kind of think about for myself where I'm drinking wine and it's this hardship, but like the beauty that might like blossom
because
from a difficulty.
I don't know why drinking wine is always associated with being like in a bad situation. I don't know why. It's in my head that is like, if I drink wine, it's like stuff are happening. Not good. Not good stuff. Maybe okay stuff. Maybe I feel kind of okay about it, but it's definitely not like good stuff. And then like but roses is something that is like picturing something like beautiful, and but also like it has thorns. Like, what in the world of beautiful flower has like spikes? Sorry, fish.
I
No,
mean,
it's fine. This is good.
every rose has its thorn, you know, it's thorns.
It's thorns, plural.
So I think that that's a great idea as well, is to kind of even mind map on something like a color and sort of what that as another springboard for yourself into kind of just thinking differently. I think that's a really big difficulty, is kind of stepping outside of like our normal way of comprehending and processing, and allowing ourselves to kind of get a little bit more artsy fartsy with what we're trying to, you know.
And sorry that I just directly cut with my lyric idea that I don't actually have in hand, but we can discuss Felicia's actual lyrics now.
Yeah.
Like actual to the core actual.
To the core actual, let's do it, baby. So one thing too, the next thing now that I would also kind of just touch into, and Felicia, just chime in, girl. So I've just sort of, like, we just kind of discussed for a second about kind of just basic ways of collecting information for ourselves, right? Or creating source in a sense. And moving into that, so Felicia, we have a very clear process. There's quite a bit of kind of reiteration or repetition happening, right? And also it's first draft, you know what I mean? So you've got a great standing in this first draft. The thing that I would say, not that I would say this is very good. I feel very silly saying that, but it feels really, really great as a writer to a writer, if I can say it that way.
I agree. Felicia makes really great, like, stuff. Like, not only lyrics though, Fish. Like, also if you do your composition, sometimes I'm like, woof, that's.
Yeah, but I don't complete.
She has like an edge. There's an edginess to it. Fish, you should do more stuff and publish it.
When I complete it, the main point is I don't complete things.
You start stuff.
That's a topic. That's a topic for y'all for another day, because that's a whole can of worms that.
Ooh, me too. I also understand that. I start a lot of things that I didn't complete.
Oh man, I just got triggered, but
sorry.
It's all good. But something that I thought of when I was going through your stuff, Felicia, was the 3-box exercise. And this is used by, people have different names for this, but it's essentially the first, and the boxes represent verses, and think about 3 boxes stacked on top of each other, but it's small, medium, and then large at the bottom. So representing our very, very traditional 3-verse concept, right? It can be 4, it can be 2. Unless you've written in AAA form, then it just is your
constant similar shape.
If it's AA form, we still actually want to have development. So what's happening is that the small box is sort of representing, like we are introducing what we're going to touch on, or we're introducing the concept in whatever way in which we want to introduce that. The second box is going to get a little bit bigger. It's going to get a little heavier. There's a little more information now coming to the listener. Right?
Yeah.
And then the third and final box is sort of like,
you're now in.
You're in it, no turning back, or the curveball, or whatever you kind of, however you want to reach that end. What is your big final statement? And so I think by kind of almost giving yourself these boxes, right? And so almost going through your lyrics and kind of filling in these boxes with like a brief description of what you're saying, right? And so I was doing that with some of your lyrics, and what was happening is
Can you point like which part, like maybe read it out? Which part is like what you think is the big box is obviously.
Yeah. So if you're looking on lyrics, we start with these little hiccups in my stomach. Then we have a 2-phrase section. It feels like I've forgotten, and it feels like I'm forgotten. And then there's one more smaller group cluster of lyrics. Please give me a sign until what should I do now? And so these 3 sections I just put into a box. And I've just sort of worked that way. I've now cut the song into 3 sections. Just really basic. I wasn't going to go through and try to pick out exactly what you would want to be a verse, although it is relatively clear to me. I just went ahead and I cut the song into 3 components. So what I did for the first, it was in the first small box, I'm going off of what I've received, right? From the lyrics and what I'm reading. Feeling not myself, forgotten, what do I do, right? In the next box, now we're moving into, in your lyrics, I've been lost for way too long. Our next box is, what I have written quickly is lost, but family and friends, kind of stable, sleep, work, feeling not myself. And so now when I look kind of in these 2 boxes, they're very, very similar. They would almost even be, feeling-wise, they're almost identical in a way, except for that little stability piece of friends and family, right? In the 3rd box, which I started with the last 3 clusters. Please give me a sign. And so the rest I've written, what do I do? Things look different, but they aren't. What do I do? Although there is like some really cool stuff happening with paths intertwining that we'll get to, hopefully time permitting. So when we kind of take an idea and we put them into the boxes, it helps to sort of like, first of all, back away from a lot of information or a lot of content. You know what I mean?
Would you back up on the first part then? Sorry, Fish. This is your song. Why am I keep butting in?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Would you then back away a little bit on the first part to give a little bit more room to grow for the rest? Because you said like it's very similar from the first 2 boxes in terms of like how you feel and the information given. Would you then like back out the stuff, or maybe move some of the stuff in the first box to put in the second box?
Yeah, so you're right on the money. Essentially, when we look at the boxes, it just sort of, it reveals some things that we would not necessarily see by going through all of the song at once. So now when I go back, and what you're saying, like when I go back into the first verse, and when we just read the very, very first cluster here, these little hiccups in my stomach and the feeling something's out of place, I know I'm here for something, but I don't know what it is. It feels like those last 2 phrases, I know I'm here for something, but I don't know what it is. That feels really like you've given so much
information
away now,
already.
Right? So it's going to be really hard to make the boxes heavier as we get deeper in the song.
You know what? Sorry. This reminds me exactly of Encanto.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, sorry. Then I'm not going to spoil it to you.
Okay, spoiler alert. It's okay.
But one of the lyrics part is like, I need to change. Sit on the side. I don't remember. Damn it. Open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes. It just repeats 3 times. It's kind of like the moment that is like, I would feel it's the hardest, like the biggest emotional box for me. Just because like it's the character just like, yo, open your eyes, just like screaming at the other characters.
Power of repetition, right?
Yeah, repetition.
Right?
It's a whole other like powerhouse to use, like because then you emphasize it so much. It's just like intense.
Well, what you just did, like you're shaking somebody, like, oh my God, open your eyes,
neck.
open your eyes,
Yeah,
and we
neck.
repeat ourselves, right? Yeah. And I think too, what's interesting with the power of repetition, right, is that when we don't become aware of that kind of like appearing in what we're doing, it slowly becomes this like powerful like thing that we are wielding, and then suddenly it's like it's turning against us and we're using it against ourselves.
Like Uno
right?
plus 4 card.
It is like Uno plus 4 card. It really is, you know, or, you know, if the reverse card, but I can't get into that, but I'm a big Uno fan.
Okay. Sorry.
So anyhow, that was something that I thought was really interesting, is sort of like, I think with you writing this, Felicia, and kind of going right into the heart and soul, you know, right at the top. And I think that is, you know, here this is like perfect lyrics to talk about and analyze with people and kind of in this setting, because it's perfectly.
I mean, there are a lot of beautiful phrases. That's a lot of good ideas. And that's what I call with Britta puzzle making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Big time. Totally. Big puzzle. And I think that like, Felicia, it's like beautifully flawed, you know, here. And you have very luxurious problem right now, which is, you know, you've processed out, you kind of have a form, you know, and what you get to do now is sort of go back to the top, right? And decide now how you want to kind of almost decorate the tree as it gets to the bottom part and how it's going to get heavier for yourself, right? But so that was kind of one really big thing, was that I think, and it's also a lot of people talk about, like, you know, the second verse blues, right? Where we tend to get stuck. And a lot of that comes from the reason of kind of putting too much emphasis or giving too much information out in that first verse. Yeah,
that's actually interesting, because I usually struggle a lot with first verse. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to the intro. But unfortunately, I do have to butt in and say, like, there's not much time left.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
We could make this a series, you know. This is not one
this
episode.
Is like, it's,
if you want,
talking about. Okay.
We are all kind of busy in our different ways.
I mean, but that's what when I was looking at this, and like, I wish y'all could see like the notes that I've written. I had to print off the lyrics again because there's so much that you can discuss.
Can I take a
apart.
picture of those later on?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Would it be also okay for
too.
you if we put it on the blog, Felicia?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, wow.
Okay.
Well,
good luck to all y'all having to read my chicken scratch, but
no, it's fine.
Nah, we'll be fine.
Those who determined to learn will get something.
Good luck, all of y'all. If it's okay, so should we just let me know when I should start wrapping up, y'all?
Maybe no.
Okay. All right. We'll wrap up now. I think there is so much more still like to say to all of this, Felicia, but my last little bit is also, and kind of piggybacking off of what you just said about like the difficulty of first verse. And one other little toolbox to kind of play with is, rather than coming in and having to figure out how you want to start that first line, which is an anchor point, which is really important. Yeah. It's an intention grabber, right? Yeah. Oh boy, here we go. But thinking also about like usage of idioms or metaphors, right? Or even similes. So things like that will also sometimes help to kind of take a little bit of the heaviness away from the load of kind of coming in and oh my gosh, how am I going to start this, right?
Would that wine roses thing could be a good first verse?
It could totally be a great first verse, and the whole thing could be.
You think so?
It could also maybe be a chorus. I feel like something in that
be,
with,
right?
you know. But anyway, that's the last bit that I wanted to say. But Felicia, thank you so much for
Thank you too, Lindsey.
letting me like have fun, go through your lyrics, and just like chat with y'all at y'all sometimes. I'm sorry, it takes me a second to get into a flow here, but it's It's really a total joy, and I could literally talk about this for 18 hours straight.
We
Like, it's
can make
horrible.
what is it called again?
Series?
Yeah, no, but like continuation to this, like
Oh yeah.
a second parts of this like lyric stuff.
Oh boy.
Because I think you also enjoy it.
I really love it, but no pressure, guys.
Oh, I love it though. All right. So to wrap up, actually, do you want to say something first, Fish, about the lyrics?
But the lyrics, actually more like I wanted to just say to you, Lindsey, thank you for taking the time to read the lyrics.
Oh girl. My freaking pleasure. So thank you. Thanks.
And if we are coming with a project that involves lyrics, we can still come back to you.
Please, I love it. I love it so much, y'all. So
Yay.
Awesome.
always, yeah.
That's great. That's great to know. So obviously, how we end this episode is usually with some recommendations.
Yeah.
Do our guest, only one, do our guest want to start with something you listen to, or like in terms of lyrics, in terms of what you currently like, anything?
Oh man.
What is your go-to song now? Then?
Oh my gosh, my go-to song.
Or like an oorworm that you have?
I don't know. I mean, recently, I've been listening to a lot of John Hyatt recently.
Hi everybody, this is post-production Audrey cutting in. As you hear, Lindsey just mentioned John Hyatt during the recording, and she realized afterwards that she was actually thinking of another musician, which is Don Henley. So yeah, you guys can check both musicians out because they're both awesome regardless. And now we can go back to the episode.
I don't know why. I mean, I love John
is
Hyatt.
that?
I love a lot of people. He was in the Eagles. And I've just been listening to his solo projects. But for example, I've been really into The Boys of Summer recently, the vibe of that song, and
Boys of Summer. Okay.
really random. I don't know why. I'm totally caught off guard. And
It's the best moment, actually.
It is,
When
it's-
our guest is like, what do I recently listen to? Or like, what do I think about right now? Just like,
Yes.
without thinking, like without pre-thinking about it.
yeah, I'm like kind of panicking right now because
It's okay. You already
yeah.
mentioned some names. It's enough. We don't.
All right.
We don't need a lot. Usually,
Okay.
it's only just like one song, just because.
I'm gonna like walk home and I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, what? Anyway.
If you want to share additional notes, I can just like put it everything. We can put in the
Yeah.
notes, in the show notes,
Yeah,
in
we
the
can write
blog.
it in the blog as
you know,
well.
we have.
All right, y'all, thank you for saving the day. So thank you.
Okay.
I just
but
want to be cool.
You
know?
are cool.
Yeah, you are.
Right, Fish.
One song, not that I've recently listened to it, but one song that I do like a lot for the lyrics is Fallen Angel from King Crimson. Yeah. I like the lyrics because it's very narrative, like very storytelling. Storytelling. Yeah.
Nice. But is
And
that your
Audrey?
recommendation?
Yeah,
For the
that
week?
is my recommendation.
Wow.
So something not classical today.
Oh wow. I don't know what I would recommend though, because literally since the last time we recorded this, what I've been listening to is still Eric Nam. I haven't changed from the last recording to now. It's a big surprise. But then I will just balance it out with a little classical, actually, then recommendations. Not really classical.
Okay.
But I've been digging back to the repertoires of ABRSM. And, I need to find the name of the composer. Just hang on a sec. this is the chaotic part that we all live for. That
When it's
Audrey's
unplanned, yeah.
searching for stuff that she cannot find.
Definitely.
Is it there? Oh yeah. So it's Habanera from Emmanuel Chabrier. I started just like playing it for fun, for myself to learn. But it ended up being really fun, and I think I kind of want to dive in a little bit with his work right now with this particular piece, because he switched to another time signature, and then when he goes back to the previous time signature, he modulates. So he made a complete switch. And I kind of want to try something like that. I mean, I used to write in odd meters a lot, and I used to jump back and forth between like meters to other meters. So is this a hint? I might be writing in an odd meter again.
Cool.
Bring back the odd meter, Audrey.
Cool.
Yeah, do that.
Cool.
But it will
I miss
take a
that
while.
face.
But it will take a while.
Oh, speaking of A Brave New World, Josh Ritter, but I love the Punch Brothers version. That's another one. That's an epic song for storytelling too, Felicia. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I just
I'm
thought
done.
of that, and I just wanted to add that in there. So, A
Good.
Brave New World, that's an amazing, amazing piece by Josh Ritter.
Josh Ritter.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. That's good recommendations.
Cool. Thanks for letting me plug that in. here for a
Yes,
second.
sure. And I guess we're done for this episode. This feels very short for some reason. I think it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's normal length episode, but it feels short. Like we could still sit here for 3 more hours.
I do too. I feel like it flew by. I could keep going here.
But that is also your classes all the time. You just
That's
say like,
kind
oh,
of you. Oh, geez."
time is running at us. Okay, now let's wrap up. Where were we? All right. So, yeah. Thanks, Lindsey.
Thank y'all so
Yeah,
much.
thank
This
you,
was a total
Lindsey.
joy. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Felicia. Thanks for everybody that's listening, hopefully, and having fun with us, hopefully. And yeah, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.